Welcome to my YouTube channel, Inner Mastery Talks. Every morning, before the noise of the world reaches you, before your phone lights up with expectations, comparisons, and opinions, there is a moment that belongs only to you. In that moment, the most important thing you can tell yourself is this: I am enough as I am, not later, not when I improve, not when I achieve more, right now. This is not arrogance, this is stability. When you begin your day rooted in your own worth, you stop chasing validation and start moving with clarity. Many people wake up already feeling behind others, behind their goals, behind an imagined version of who they should be. They tell themselves, I'm not ready yet, I'm not good enough yet, or I'll feel confident once I fix this. But listen carefully, if your self-worth depends on conditions, it will always be fragile. There will always be something missing, something to improve, something to prove, and that is an exhausting way to live. Telling yourself you are enough does not mean you stop growing. It means you stop hating yourself while you grow. Growth built on self-rejection creates pressure. Growth built on self-acceptance creates strength. When you accept yourself, you stand firmly. From that place, discipline becomes easier, focus becomes sharper, and progress becomes sustainable. Look at how often people confuse self-criticism with motivation. They think being hard on themselves will push them forward. But most of the time, it only creates fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not measuring up. Fear makes you tense. Tension drains energy, and a drained mind cannot perform at its best. When you start your day by reminding yourself that you are enough, you relax into your effort. You move forward with calm determination, not panic. You are enough does not mean you are perfect. It means you are whole. It means your value is not reduced by mistakes, weakness, or uncertainty. Every human being carries flaws. The difference is not who has them, but who allows them to define their identity. If every morning you tell yourself, I am broken, you will act broken. If every morning you tell yourself, I am capable of learning, you will act capable. Notice how children move through the world. They try, they fail, they try again, without attaching shame to the attempt. Somewhere along the way, many people learn to tie their worth to outcomes. Success meant, I am valuable. Failure meant, I am not. This belief quietly shapes decisions, relationships, and even how you speak to yourself when no one else is listening. The voice you hear most in your life is your own. If that voice constantly reminds you of what you lack, you will shrink. If it reminds you of your inherent worth, you will expand. This is why what you tell yourself in the morning matters so much. It sets the tone. It decides whether you walk into the day as someone begging for approval or someone standing in quiet confidence. When you know you are enough, you stop comparing your path to others. Comparison is a sign of insecurity, not ambition. You cannot walk your path while staring at someone else's feet. Your journey has its own timing, its own challenges, its own lessons. Accepting yourself frees you from the illusion that you must be someone else to succeed. There is also a deeper discipline in self-acceptance. It requires honesty. It asks you to see yourself clearly, your strengths, your limits, your habits, without distortion. Denial is easy. Harsh judgment is easy. Calm truth is harder but far more powerful. When you tell yourself, I am enough, you are saying, I can face myself without running away. From this place, responsibility becomes lighter. You no longer improve because you hate who you are. You improve because you respect who you are. Respect changes everything. It changes how you treat your body, your time, your energy, and your choices. You don't sabotage what you respect. You take care of it. Many people wait for confidence to appear before they act. But confidence is not something you wait for. It is something you practice. And the practice begins with how you speak to yourself when no one is watching. Each morning affirmation is not magic. It is training. You are training your mind to stand upright instead of collapsing inward. If today feels heavy, tell yourself you are enough to carry it. If you feel uncertain, tell yourself you are enough to learn. If you feel small, remind yourself that roots grow in silence before trees rise in the open. Nothing needs to be proven in the morning. Something needs to be remembered. The world will challenge your worth soon enough. Do not join in. Be the one place where you are not at war with yourself. Strength does not come from aggression toward the self. It comes from alignment. When your mind, body, and values move together, your presence becomes solid. People feel it, opportunities respond to it, and most importantly, you trust yourself. So tomorrow morning, before you plan, before you judge, before you rush, pause, breathe, and tell yourself calmly and clearly, I am enough as I am, and from this place I move forward. Each morning you wake up, something quiet but powerful happens. The day has no memory. It does not remember your failures, your hesitation, your mistakes, or the moments where you fell short. The day does not judge you for yesterday, only you do. And this is why one of the most important things you can tell yourself every morning is this: today is a fresh start. Many people carry yesterday into today without realizing it. They wake up already tired, not because the day is heavy, but because their mind is still holding on to what has already passed. A mistake from last week, a conversation from yesterday, a decision they regret. And without noticing, they allow those moments to define how they show up now. But the truth is simple. What has already happened cannot be changed, only understood. And understanding is meant to free you, not chain you. A fresh start does not mean pretending nothing happened. It means you stop allowing the past to dictate your present behavior. There is a difference. Reflection is useful. Rumination is destructive. When you wake up and tell yourself today is a new beginning, you are choosing learning over self-punishment. You are saying, I take the lesson, but I release the weight. The mind has a habit of replaying moments where things went wrong. It does this in an attempt to protect you from future pain. But without guidance, the mind does not protect, it traps. It keeps you stuck in a loop of self-judgment. Every morning is your opportunity. Thank you to interrupt that loop. To remind yourself that awareness exists now, not yesterday. Think of how often people say, this is just who I am, when what they really mean is, this is who I've been. Identity built from past behavior is not fixed. It is outdated. You are not the same person you were 5 years ago, 1 year ago, or even yesterday. Every experience changes you. Every insight reshapes you. Every morning you wake up slightly different than before. A fresh start is not denial of your history, it is recognition of your evolution. The danger of not allowing yourself a new beginning is subtle. You stop trying, not dramatically, but quietly. You lower expectations, you hesitate, you assume outcomes before acting, and slowly your potential shrinks to match your disappointment. When you start the day believing it's already decided, you move without intention. But when you start the day knowing it is open, you move with presence. A fresh start restores responsibility. Yesterday may explain why things are the way they are, but it does not excuse you from choosing differently today. This is not harsh, it is empowering. You are not trapped by circumstances, you are guided by choices, even small ones, even quiet ones, especially the ones no one sees. Many people wait for external change before they allow themselves an internal reset. They think, once things calm down, or once I fix this situation, then I'll feel new. But renewal does not come from circumstances, it comes from perspective. The outer world rarely changes first, the inner decision does. Each morning is an invitation. You can enter the day carrying guilt, regret, and expectation, or you can enter it with intention. You can say, I cannot undo yesterday, but I can choose how today unfolds. That single thought changes posture, tone, and energy. It changes how you speak, how you listen, and how you respond under pressure. There is also humility in accepting a fresh start. It requires admitting that you are still learning, that you do not have it all figured out, that you are allowed to adjust. Many people cling to old versions of themselves because change feels like admitting failure. But growth is not a confession of weakness. It is proof of awareness. When you start the day fresh, you give yourself permission to try again. And trying again is one of the strongest disciplines there is. Not with force, not with desperation, but with steadiness. You don't need to reinvent your life every morning. You only need to realign it. Notice how nature works. Each sunrise does not apologize for the night. It simply arrives. Calm, consistent, certain. There is no drama in renewal, only presence. When you align yourself with this rhythm, your life becomes less reactive and more intentional. Carrying the past into the present often shows up as self-talk. I always mess this up. I'm bad at this. This never works out for me. These are not facts. They are habits of thought, and habits can be changed, but only when they are noticed. The morning is the best time to notice them, because the day has not yet spoken over you. A fresh start also means you stop negotiating with regret. Regret wants to be heard, not obeyed. You can acknowledge it without letting it drive. You can say, I see what happened and I choose to move forward anyway. That choice builds self-respect, and self-respect builds momentum. When you give yourself a new beginning each morning, you become more forgiving, not only of yourself but of others. You stop reacting from old wounds and start responding from clarity. You become less defensive and more grounded. This is not softness. This is mastery. Do not underestimate the power of beginning again. Most people don't fail because they lack ability. They fail because they stop allowing themselves to restart. They believe one mistake defines the journey. But mastery is built on many restarts, not one perfect run. So when you wake up tomorrow, remember this: the day has not yet been shaped. Your actions, your mindset, your discipline will give it form. Yesterday has already finished its work. Today is waiting for yours. Begin it cleanly, intentionally, and without caring what no longer serves you. Because every morning, whether you realize it or not, life is offering you another chance to begin. As the day unfolds, uncertainty will appear. It always does. Plans shift, people behave unpredictably, obstacles show up without warning, and in those moments, one belief determines whether you stay grounded or become overwhelmed. I can handle whatever comes my way. This is not blind optimism. It is quiet confidence built on self-trust. Many people fear challenges, not because they are incapable, but because they doubt themselves. They imagine the problem before it happens and collapse under the weight of that imagination. The mind often suffers more in anticipation than in reality. When you tell yourself each morning that you can handle what comes, you interrupt that pattern. You remind yourself that you have faced difficulty before and you are still here. Resilience is not about never struggling. It is about knowing that struggle does not end you. Every challenge you have survived has already proven something important. You adapt, you learn, you endure. Yet the mind forgets this easily. Under pressure, it focuses on what could go wrong instead of what has already gone right. This is why self-reminders are necessary, not to inflate the ego, but to stabilize it. Handling what comes your way does not mean you will always know the right answer immediately. It means you trust yourself to respond step by step. Life rarely demands perfection, it demands presence. When you stay present, you make better decisions. When you panic, you rush or freeze. Confidence is not loud, it is calm. Observe how people react differently to the same situation. One sees a problem and feels attacked. Another sees the same problem and feels challenged. The difference is not the event, but the internal dialogue. If you tell yourself, this is too much, it will be. If you tell yourself, I will figure this out, you create space for solutions to appear. Strength is not about controlling the world. It is about regulating your response to it. You cannot control traffic, weather, or other people's emotions, but you can control how you breathe, how you speak to yourself, and how you choose your next action. That is real power, and it begins with the belief that you are capable. When difficulty arises, many people immediately ask, why is this happening to me? That question leads nowhere. A more useful question is, what is required of me now? This shifts you from victimhood to responsibility. Responsibility is not a burden, it is a position of agency. From there, movement becomes possible. There will be days when handling what comes your way means acting decisively. There will be days when it means asking for help. Both require strength. Self-trust includes knowing when to push and when to pause. There is no weakness in adjusting your pace. There is only wisdom in staying aligned with your capacity. Fear often exaggerates the size of obstacles, but fear loses power when met with action. Even the smallest step forward reduces uncertainty. Momentum is built not by certainty but by movement. When you believe you can handle the situation, you are more likely to engage with it instead of avoiding it. Avoidance creates anxiety. Engagement creates clarity. Think about how many challenges feel overwhelming at first, but manageable once you begin. The mind resists the unknown, not the effort itself. This is why preparation is less important than adaptability. You do not need to know everything. You need to trust your ability to learn as you go. Handling what comes your way also means accepting discomfort as part of growth. Comfort zones feel safe, but they limit expansion. Every meaningful skill, relationship, or achievement require discomfort at the beginning. When you accept this, difficulty stops feeling like a threat and starts feeling like a signal that you are moving forward. There will be moments when things do not go as planned, when efforts fail, when outcomes disappoint. In those moments, remind yourself, this is not the end, it is information. Every setback contains feedback. If you are willing to look at it without ego, it becomes guidance. The belief that you can handle what comes also changes how others perceive you. People feel stability. They trust your presence. Not because you have all the answers, but because you are not shaken by uncertainty. This steadiness is built through repetition. Each time you face something difficult and stay engaged, confidence deepens. You are stronger than the stories you tell yourself in moments of doubt. You have already handled more than you once thought possible. The fact that you are here means you have adapted again and again. The mind may forget, but the body remembers resilience. Handling what comes your way does not mean you will never feel fear. It means fear does not decide for you. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is movement despite it. Each time you act with courage, fear loses authority. As the day continues, challenges will come in different forms: external pressures, internal doubts, unexpected changes. Meet them with steadiness. Breathe. Focus on what you can influence. Release what you cannot. This balance keeps you centered. So when the day tests you, remember this truth: you do not need to control the outcome to trust yourself. You only need to stay present, responsive, and willing to take the next step. Because whatever comes, you are capable of meeting it. At some point in the day, usually when motivation fades and distractions grow louder, a quiet truth becomes important to remember: my actions today shape my future. Not the big promises you make to yourself, not the plans you talk about, but the small actions you actually take. Life does not respond to intention alone. It responds to behavior, repeated consistently over time. Many people overestimate what they can do in a short burst and underestimate what they can build through steady effort. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect mood, the perfect level of confidence. But the future is not built in perfect conditions. It is built in ordinary moments, when no one is watching, when the work feels boring, when progress is slow. Every action is a vote. Each choice you make is a vote for the person you are becoming. One disciplined choice does not transform your life, but many of them create momentum. And one careless choice does not ruin your future, but repeated carelessness builds instability. This is not about pressure, it is about awareness. When you understand that your actions shape your future, you stop outsourcing responsibility. You no longer blame time, circumstances, or other people for where you are. You may acknowledge obstacles, but you do not hide behind them. Responsibility is empowering because it puts movement back in your hands. The mind often focuses on results, but results are delayed feedback. Actions are immediate. If you want to change where you are going, you don't need to obsess over the destination. You need to adjust what you do today. The future is simply a collection of todays, layered one on top of the other. Discipline is not punishment. It is alignment between what you say matters and what you actually do. If health matters, how you move and eat today matters. If learning matters, how you use your time today matters. If peace matters, how you react today matters. Integrity is built in these small, quiet moments of consistency. There will be days when you don't feel inspired. That is normal. Inspiration is unreliable. Structure is dependable. This is why habits matter more than motivation. Habits carry you when emotions fluctuate. They protect your future from your temporary moods. You don't need to overhaul your life in one day. That approach usually leads to burnout. Sustainable change respects pacing. One focused action done well is better than many scattered attempts. Mastery grows from depth, not from rush. Pay attention to what you repeatedly postpone. Avoidance is information. It shows you where resistance lives. Instead of judging yourself for it, investigate it. Ask what makes the action uncomfortable. Often, growth hides behind discomfort. When you take responsibility for your actions, you also regain respect for yourself. Self-respect grows when your behavior aligns with your values. Each time you follow through, even in small ways, you strengthen G, then trust with yourself. And self-trust is the foundation of confidence. Your future does not require you to be extraordinary today, it requires you to be consistent. Ordinary effort, repeated daily, becomes extraordinary over time. This is how skills develop. This is how character forms. This is how stability is built. Notice how easily time passes. Days blur together if you move without intention. But when you act deliberately, time feels meaningful. You are no longer drifting, you are directing. The choices you make today also influence the energy you carry tomorrow. When you avoid necessary actions, they return as stress. When you complete them, they return as relief. Action clears the mind, procrastination clouds it. Responsibility also means accepting that progress is not always visible. Some days you plant seeds. You do not see growth immediately. But absence of visible progress does not mean absence of progress. Trust the process you are consistently feeding. Your actions shape not only outcomes but identity. You become what you repeatedly do. If you act with discipline, you become disciplined. If you act with patience, you become patient. Identity follows behavior, not the other way around. When you act in alignment with your future, even discomfort feels meaningful. You stop asking, "Is this easy?" and start asking, "Is this necessary?" That shift builds resilience. So as the day moves on, return to the present moment. Ask yourself what action serves the future you want to stand in. Do that. Then do it again tomorrow. Because the future is not something you wait for. It is something you build, one action at a time. As the day begins to slow, as effort has been given and energy has been spent, the final mindset that carries you through is a choice, one that must be made again and again. I choose gratitude, growth, and positivity. Not because life is always easy, but because your inner state determines how life is experienced. Gratitude is often misunderstood. People think it means ignoring problems or pretending everything is fine. It does not. Gratitude is clarity. It is the ability to see what is present instead of obsessing over what is missing. When you focus only on what you lack, your mind becomes restless. When you acknowledge what you have, your mind becomes grounded. Gratitude does not remove ambition. It stabilizes it. Without gratitude, ambition turns into dissatisfaction. You achieve one thing and immediately feel empty, chasing the next. With gratitude, effort becomes fulfilling because it is no longer fueled by scarcity but by appreciation. You still move forward but without resentment. There is always something you can be grateful for if you slow down enough to notice. Breath, movement, a lesson learned, the fact that you tried. Gratitude trains your mind to recognize value even in ordinary moments. And a mind trained to recognize value experiences life more fully. Growth requires a different discipline. It asks you to see challenges not as obstacles, but as teachers. Every difficulty contains information. Every mistake points to adjustment. Growth is not about avoiding failure, it is about using it. When you choose growth, you stop asking why something happened and start asking what it can teach you. Many people resist growth because it demands responsibility. Growth says, "I can do better," without shame. It says, "I am not finished," without frustration. This mindset keeps you flexible. A rigid mind breaks under pressure. A growing mind adapts. Positivity, then, is not forced optimism. It is direction. It is choosing where to place your attention. The mind will always find what it looks for. If you look for problems, you will find many. If you look for opportunities, you will find those too. Positivity is not denying reality. It is selecting a useful perspective within reality. Negative thinking often feels realistic, but it rarely leads to effective action. It drains energy and narrows perception. Positive thinking expands options. It keeps the nervous system calm enough to think clearly. From clarity, better decisions are made. Choosing gratitude, growth, and positivity does not mean you never feel frustration, anger, or disappointment. It means those emotions do not become your identity. You acknowledge them, learn from them, and move forward without carrying them longer than necessary. This choice also affects how you treat others. A grateful person is less reactive. A growth-oriented person listens. A positive person does not need to tear others down to feel strong. Your inner stance shapes your relationships more than your words ever could. When the day ends, reflection matters. Ask yourself what went well, what challenged you, and what you learned. This simple practice turns experience into wisdom. Without reflection, days pass. With reflection, days accumulate meaning. Life is not asking you to be perfect, it is asking you to be present. When you choose gratitude, growth, and positivity, you show up fully. You stop resisting what is and start working with it. This creates inner peace, not because life is calm, but because you are. Over time, this mindset compounds. Gratitude keeps you grounded. Growth keeps you evolving. Positivity keeps you moving forward. Together, they form a steady foundation, one that supports you through uncertainty and change. Every morning begins with intention. Every day unfolds through action. Every evening closes with reflection. When these are aligned, life becomes disciplined yet flexible, focused yet humane. So as you move forward, remember this: you do not control everything that happens, but you always control the mindset you bring to it, and that choice shapes everything that follows. Before you step back into the noise of life, remember this: the way you begin your morning determines how you meet the world. What you tell yourself first becomes the foundation for every thought, every decision, every action that follows. You are enough as you are. Each day is a fresh start. You can handle whatever comes your way. Your actions today shape your future, and you always have the power to choose gratitude, growth, and positivity. These are not just words to repeat, they are principles to live by. They are reminders that return you to balance when the world pulls you in different directions. Life will test you. Some days will feel heavy. Some moments will challenge your discipline and your patience. But when your inner voice is steady, the outer chaos loses its control. Do not wait for confidence to appear. Speak it into existence through action. Do not wait for clarity to arrive. Create it through responsibility. Do not wait for life to become easy. Become strong, calm, and present within it. Each morning, you are given one simple task: to show up with intention. If you do that consistently, quietly, honestly, your life will change, not all at once, but steadily and surely. So tomorrow morning, when you open your eyes, choose your words carefully, because the way you speak to yourself is the way you shape your life.